Stacy said she did.
Call to order the workshop session
There you go again.
for the Common Council meeting dated March 7th, 2017 at 5:01 p.m. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilman Williams.
Here.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Here.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Here.
Councilmember Shikala.
Here.
Councilmember at large Wallace.
Present. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Because this is a workshop, we will skip over number 2, certification of the prior meetings. We'll skip over number 3, reading of the privilege of the floor. We'll skip over number 4, privilege of the floor. Number 5, communications from the mayor, including disapproval messages. Mayor, anything you'd like to share during the workshop?
Nothing at all.
Okay, thank you, sir. Number 6, communications from the public and petitions.
Petition from South Ocelot property owners to install curbing along the east and west sides between Middle Road and Lakeshore Drive and north and south sides of East Chestnut Street, west of South Servo Street to South Ocelot Street.
Any discussion, council? Councilwoman Shikawa?
Yeah, we discussed this at the last DPW meeting. We had some residents show up voicing their concerns. I also had 2 phone calls this evening. The sad situation that it is in, fortunately it's not the only street that doesn't have curbing in the city of Dunkirk. I do believe that there are some drainage issues that I think that we can take care of without doing a very large project and curbing. And unfortunately, we don't have the money to do any large projects right now. Without having said that, I'd like to just see us receive and file this and concentrate on other things at this time.
Thank you, Councilwoman Shikawa. Discussion, Councilman Williams?
Yes, I received similar phone calls, ran into people out in the public, and they discussed as much as they agree that something needs to be done down there, that to try to use all of the CHIPS money or CDBG money to try to do that. There's other things that are more pressing from what they say, so I agree. We got to try to look for something for the drainage. I looked at it today, and it doesn't look that great down there, so hopefully our DPW director or engineer can look at something down there to try to at least come up with something to make it look a little bit better down there without curbing. But yeah, I believe that we need to just receive them. Yes.
Oh my God.
Any further discussion from council?
I know, write it down.
7. Oh. Is there any further discussion from department heads concerning this issue? My referral for this petition should go to Law Department, DPW? DPW only?
Yep.
Okay. I will ask for a referral to DPW. I will need a first on the referral. Councilman Williams, second. Councilman Mato. Communication number 2.
Request from Dunkirk Lakefront 5K Committee to host the annual Dunkirk Lakefront 5K Road Race on August 5th, beginning at 8 a.m.
Any discussion from council?
I just have a
Councilman
question.
Shikawa?
Chief, did they get back to you with anything with a route?
It says here listed
And
the
it,
route, and I didn't get any.
I didn't get anything either, so I think before we approve it, we need to make sure that the route is what it was.
Yeah, there's a map. It was a late addition to the envelope. It might be your last page.
Oh, I did, never mind.
You have that?
It might be your last page. It was a late addition to the envelope.
Got it.
Okay, thank you.
They're going to use Route 5.
According to this, I think the sidewalk
They're going to use the sidewalk.
in front of Tim Hortons and down left on Main Street. I think.
They want to use both sides.
So we're gonna need somebody to cross them down on
And
Brigham?
we're
Or
gonna need
Memorial.
to hold traffic at the city pier, and then they're gonna go down Main Street as well. Tim Hortons, the hotel. I'd rather have them use the standard
I
route
think we need to
behind,
use
so we
the-
don't have to block off all those areas.
I would think. To use the same route that they're going up with, just turn around.
You wanna make a contingent upon them approving the route that we give them, and we can give them a map? We can make sure we send them the actual route. We have that downstairs.
Just tell them
Yes.
to let you drive it
So
out.
Chief, would you like me to refer this to your department contingent upon
Change in route.
approval on both parties to the
Approval
route?
of the other route.
Okay. I would need a first for that referral. Mr. Gonzalez,
Second.
second. Ms. Shudo. I'm going to ask the clerk to combine communications 3 and 4, since they're both going to be the same referrals.
Notice of summons and verified complaint, and notice of claim from Jose Reyes Collazo for alleged damages to his vehicle due to a pothole while driving on Willow Road on February 21st, 2017.
At that time, I would ask for a referral to the law department. Need a first. Councilwoman Ishikawa, second. Councilman Williams. Number 7, reports of standing committees, boards, and commissions. Mr. Williams, anything today? Workshop? Mr. Romano?
Yes, just want to bring up paving, 117. This year we were all given like a street. Where I thought it was needed to be done, and I was wondering if we had that same opportunity this year.
I know Councilman Williams, you sent us that communication last year asking us if we had one within our ward. Is that same?
I didn't do anything about that with the DPW committee, but I think Bob's already, our director has a plan already
Okay.
for the streets. Last year when I said that, we didn't have a plan yet, so.
Gotcha.
He does have a plan, or doesn't he?
From the DPW committee meeting, I think he was saying that he had a plan on.
But he didn't
what
have, he
streets
didn't
are-
have the input of the council people.
Okay.
We have streets that we're being asked that need to be done also. And then we've been waiting for 6 years.
Randy, you know if they're anywhere near completion of the list yet,
Okay.
or what they talked about is what's getting done, or?
We have 2 stages of the list. With Councilman Williams' help, we have the use of the county paper. We started that last year. It's been amazing savings to the city, and the county seems to like doing it. We have 2 windows of opportunity for using that paper. One starting May 1st, which means we have to get all of our roads ready. And the director, Bankowski, has a list of roads to do during that first window. There will be another window later on in the summer where we can get to the county paper. So that would be, some of the mayor would like to do at least a couple of streets in each ward. So the streets that are immediately available don't need milling. We have Hoyt Street, we have Margate Street, and we have South Market Street. So those streets are ready to go right now. And then there's 6th Street over by Main Street that didn't get finished. When we did a full length of the 600 block of Main Street, it needs a new fire hydrant. There's a black unusable fire hydrant. Once we replace that fire hydrant, that street will be ready to repave. So that's another one in the 3rd ward that I know of. If you have any more, get them to the director as quick as you can so we can incorporate them either in this first window or the second window. And over in the 2nd ward, of course, Howard Avenue is a big one, and then we have over on 5th Street is another one. So the director has all those, talking to the mayor. It all depends on what we can fit into the first window, and then what we can fit in then again to the second window.
Yeah, I have a concern with that, because I don't see the list, I mean, I haven't seen the list, and I had mentioned before that section on 6th Street, between Main Street and I think it's Deer Street, the pothole and the big, needs a hole be done in that section.
That's on the director's list and the mayor's
I
list.
haven't seen the list, so can you
Well,
forward
we
me
did.
that list?
The list was a verbal list that was discussed at the DPW meeting.
If it was verbal once, it should be written by now, right?
It probably would come out in the minutes of the next meeting. So, I would say get a hold of the director to make sure, it's on the list. And it's been mentioned to me to make sure that one's ready. So if we could squeeze it into the first window, absolutely.
That needs immediate attention, that's for sure, because cars have to veer in the way of the other cars coming in order to.
And I totally agree with that, but if you want to see one even worse, Councilman Bomano will show you one over on Fifth Street that competes with all of them. Am I right, Councilman?
You're absolutely right. His doesn't count, he's new.
Mr. Woodbury, I have a question since we're talking about that. Last year, Mayor Rosas was kind enough to approve the purchase of a used, now I know I'm going to get the name of the machine wrong. I'm going to call it a paper. Zipper, thank you. Can you give us an update as to if we're going to use the zipper this year, if we're not going to use the zipper this year?
I spoke with Director Bankowski this morning about that. Every one of the streets in our first window and then toward the beginning of the second window are lengths that we can handle with our own zipper. It will save, the milling machine, the large milling machine that's as big as 2 school buses is on county or state contract. But that's for a full length of a road. The roads that we have targeted are 1 or 2 blocks. Our used machine can handle that. We proved that, I think, with a 6th Street section that really looked like a lunar landscape last year. It looks fantastic this year. Clover Street, which looked like a lunar landscape, as a 500 block of Clover, looks fantastic. So that $10,000 used, it only had 200 hours on it. It was a fantastic buy. I think Councilman Williams and the mayor found that. We went up and grabbed that, and it's been a godsend. We did the entire length of 1,800 feet of Ruggles Street with that machine. So we can do a lot with that machine. We intend to, the first streets we intend to do, we'll be using our own machine.
So it is operational and ready to go?
I don't know that. It's supposed to be,
Okay.
but I haven't fired it up lately.
Okay.
It probably needs new spark plugs or something, but it'll be ready.
Okay, as long as the intention is there.
Yeah.
Thank you. Any other council people?
Is the director going to be present?
Director is excused, he has a conflict. Will you talk to the Councilman Lark about that?
Correct. I was going to announce it during the meeting.
Because there's a cone on Newton Street. There's a hole. There's been there for a while. He has been asked. He called had a gentleman called the city department, and he said he was ignored twice. It's about an 8-foot hole, and the kids have to walk to school.
Which part of
On Newton Street, and
Washington Avenue?
I think it's something like that.
Sorry. I'm going to take a look at it and I'll talk to the director more about it.
Appreciate it.
Any further reports from any council people? Anything any department heads would like to share during the workshop session? Moving on to number 8, unfinished business. Seeing none. Number 9, pre-filed resolutions. Number 11.
Number 11 of 2017, resolution authorizing professional services contract for Bridges, New York Engineering to replace West Howard Avenue culvert.
Any discussion, council? Seeing none, I would ask for a roll call at that time. Number 10, new business. Seeing none. Number 11, adjournment of the workshop session. Councilwoman Shikawa, second by Councilman Gonzalez. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa.
Aye.
Councilmember at large Boishman.
Aye. Workshop is closed at 5:14.
I'll just put it in the file. Look at this. You guys might want to look at this. I found it going through my great-grandmother's stuff. Isn't that neat?
They used to be at the point.
That used to be at the point.
Looks like a golf course.
Doesn't it? I know. I don't know if that's before they gave us the land.
No, I'm from the Observer.
Hi, Matt. Nice to see you.
Isn't that neat?
That was the pavilion?
That was, it says playground underneath on the very bottom.
Is that completely gone?
I believe that's gone.
What
Maybe Mike knows.
was the address?
Why, you think I'm old?
No, I thought maybe you had some pictures too
I'm the
somewhere.
oldest one in the room, probably.
No, maybe.
Nah, Tommy's still here.
I ran across some pictures of Central Avenue too that looked kind of neat. It says Dunkirk Playground, Point Gratiot.
Wow, that's beautiful.
This is from, I don't know.
You sure you're not gonna be able to build that with the new grant?
Yeah, I just got a photograph of my brother's
Isn't
badge
that
when
neat?
he was city clerk.
Yeah,
Okay.
you should
Back
bring
in
that in again
76.
and see if he'll run into
My
Do You
nephew had
Remember?
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, right?
I guess all the council members used to have them.
Maybe.
Yeah, like,
I was like,
I guess.
How long did they have a date on
Hey,
it?
we got nameplates.
Same difference, right?
So that when I doze off, she can turn it down to a normal level. Or when I doze off, she's when I doze off, she can switch channels.
I guess I've been blessed with a couple easy meetings so far.
You mentioned something about
One cent
Bob had to
stamp.
notify you if he's not gonna be there. You might be able to date it by like Googling like when was a postcard only 1 cent to send? That's so cool. I love looking at all this stuff. Even though it's
I
sad.
found a picture, I don't know where it's from, it looked like a local building, but I can't place it in my head, of Jackie Onassis. I got the side view of her. She was doing, and it was, yeah, and it was a Polaroid.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was really
And then I ran into some of those old tin pictures, you know, the actual metal pictures, I don't
So
even
do
know
I
what the heck
forward
these
your number?
They had hats on.
Yeah, right?
It's gotta be relatives of some kind.
Oh, I know.
Wants to do a program
My grandma, now she's like, ah, pictures, just
and talk to like.
She's like, just take whatever you want. She's like, when I'm dead, they won't, I won't need them, so she's like, take whatever. Yeah, so, exactly, so we went through that, she was in college now.
Okay.
I grew up in college.
I think
That's where.
it's Matt.
Yeah.
Call to order. Common Council meeting for March 7th, 2017 at 5:30 PM. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Here.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Here.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Here.
Councilmember Shakawa.
Here.
Councilmember at Large Voisin.
Present. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, please take note that DPW Director Bankowski has been excused from this evening's meeting. Certification of the prior meetings.
This is to certify that an official copy of the minutes of the Common Council meeting of Tuesday, February 21st, 2017, was presented to the mayor on Friday, March 3rd, 2017. Pursuant to Section 3.03 of the Dunkirk City Charter, all items presented to the mayor are now in full force and effect. In witness whereof, I have hereto set my hand and seal of the city of Dunkirk, New York, to this 7th day of March.
Need a motion dispensing with the reading of the minutes. Councilman Williams for the first, Councilman Gonzalez with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Bamanto.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Shakawa.
Aye.
Councilmember at Large Voisin.
Aye. Reading of the privilege of the floor regulations.
The privilege of the floor shall be extended to any person appearing for themselves, in which case the individual shall be limited to 3 minutes, and to any person representing a group who shall be limited to 5 minutes. When recognized, please stand and state your name and address. The city clerk shall have the duty of maintaining such time limits, and the councilman at large may determine in his discretion whether individuals are speaking for themselves or representing groups. Councilman at large Voisin shall maintain good order and may require any speaker to cease speaking if remarks are made in bad taste or are slanderous or non-germane to any action taken or contemplated by council. The time limits specified above shall be strictly adhered to, except that a speaker may be allowed to complete a statement or thought started before such time has expired.
Privilege of the floor is now open. If anybody wishes to speak, please step forward and state your name and address. Privilege of the floor is now open. If anybody wishes to speak, please step forward and state your name and address. Last opportunity. Privilege of the floor is now open. Please step forward and state your name and address. Seeing none, privilege of the floor is now closed. Communication from the mayor, including disapproval messages.
Just have a couple of announcements. One is regarding upcoming public meetings. The city's Planning and Development Department will be seeking public participation in many upcoming planning efforts. These include the Comprehensive Plan, Zombie Property Survey, CDBG Consolidated Plan, and CDBG Annual Action Plan for 2017. These meetings will be held throughout the city and will take on a new approach for getting the community's input and ideas. Meeting dates and times are to be determined. I would encourage everyone to come out and support these planning efforts for the future of Dunkirk. Also want to announce that the mayor's office here in the city has reached out to our 8th graders in the Dunkirk Middle School for an essay contest. The theme of the essay is, if I were mayor, I would ... Basically, the judging and prizes are, the essay would be 350 to 500 words. And they would basically explain how and why they would undertake certain actions. And the essay would be judged by the city's personnel committee on creativity, clarity, sincerity of thought, and proper use of grammar. 3 winning essays will be selected. First place will receive $75, second place $50, and third place $25. In addition, the winners will be recognized on the city's website and in the Observer. The first place winner, along with their parents and teacher, will be invited to a council meeting in May and be recognized. Every essay writer will receive a certificate of participation. And for more information, visit www.dunkertoday.com. Basically, that's it.
Thank you, Mayor. You're very brave for having that essay contest. Communications from the public and petitions.
Number 1, petition from South Ocelot property owners to install curbing along the east and west sides between Middle Road and Lakeshore Drive, and north and south sides of East Chestnut Street, west of South Serval Street to South Ocelot Street.
Any discussion, council? Councilwoman Shikawa?
This was brought up at our last DPW meeting, and we had some residents from Ocelot Street come and voice their concerns and ideas as well. I think that at this time, council would like to look into an alternate plan to address the drainage issues on that street without moving forward with a curbing project at this time. We don't feel that the city has enough money to take on a project like that. There are several other areas in the city that need additional attention, so I think we're going to leave it in DPW's hands, and they'll get back to us, and maybe we can do some drainage of some kind or an alternate plan.
Thank you, Councilwoman Shikawa. Councilman Williams?
Yeah, I received several calls from residents and property owners on Ocelot and throughout the city with comments about that. There's a lot of questions still out there for the residents that are there on what they'd have to pay and how much it would be. And the other part would be the city would have to front money, and we just don't have the money to front for it. So I agree with the councilwoman. There's still issues down there that we need to address as far as drainage goes. So we'll be handling that over to the DPW, and hopefully the director and the engineer can come up with something good for over there.
Thank you, Councilman Williams. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I'd like to make a motion to refer this to the DPW department. Councilman Williams with the first. Councilman Belmonte with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Belmonte?
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa?
Aye.
Councilmember at large Voisin.
Aye.
Number 2, request from Dunkirk Lakefront 5K Committee to host the annual Dunkirk Lakefront 5K Road Race on August 5th, beginning at 8 a.m.
Any discussion, council? Councilwoman Shikawa?
We have a pre-approved route for all races throughout the city of Dunkirk, and unfortunately, this route alters that plan. So I believe that we're going to get in touch with them and let them know that the pre-approved plan is to use the route that we have chosen.
Thank you, Councilwoman Shikawa. Any further discussion? Councilman Williams?
On that pre-approved plan, do we have that on paper like a lot of them submit so that we can give it to them whenever anybody comes? Because it seems like this comes up a lot, so if we can have that.
Clerk's office.
Okay, so they get it when they come in? All right.
Yeah, if not, I'm sure if Randy could help us, we could just get a map and draw it and size it down a little bit so we can hand them out. Sure.
That's all I mean, it's not so much about this, but just it's an issue that comes up a lot, so.
You are correct.
Just make sure that we have something that they get.
Any further discussion, council? With that being said, I need a motion to refer to the appropriate departments as well as approve subject to appropriate insurances and usual conditions contingent upon agreement for the race route. Councilman Gonzalez with the first, Councilwoman Shikawa with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Belmonte?
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa?
Aye.
Councilmember at large Voisin.
Aye. I ask the clerk to group together communications 3 and 4.
Communications 3 and 4, notice of summons and verified complaint. Notice of claim from Jose Reyes Goyazo for alleged damages to his vehicle due to a pothole while driving on Willow Road on February 21st, 2017.
Need a motion to refer this to the law department. Councilwoman Shikawa with the first. Councilman Williams with the second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Belmonte?
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilmember Shikawa?
Aye.
Councilmember at large Voisin.
Aye. Reports of standing committees, boards, and commissions. Councilman Williams, the floor is yours.
At our last DPW committee meeting, we talked about setting out the recycling schedule. We got a lot of calls about some people that wanted to make sure that it got to every residence. It's too expensive to mail it. So we looked into doing it through the penny saver, and I believe there's been a PO out there and it's been approved, and it should be in the penny saver probably this weekend or the following weekend. So anybody at home, if you normally throw out your penny saver, don't throw it out, because in the next 2 times that it comes out, our recycling schedule should be in there. And that's all that I have.
Thank you, Councilman Williams. Councilman Bamonto, the floor is yours.
Yes, just one announcement. There'll be a personnel meeting March 15th, 4 p.m., Mayor's Conference Room. At that time, we'll be picking the Mayor's essay contest winners. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman Bamonto. Councilman Gonzalez?
The economic development meeting will be on the 21st at 4 p.m. I think we're going to have a presentation from Striders.
Yes.
Right, that we're supposed to have done last week. And we're also going to go over the details of what the mayor had said in regards to economic development and the things that we're going to be doing throughout the year and so on. I also just want to reiterate to the director who's not here, to Mr. Woodbury in regards to the situation or to the hole that's over on Newton Street again, so make sure it's on the, somebody can go out there and take a look at that, please.
Will do.
Thank you. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman Gonzalez. Councilwoman Shikawa?
Yes, I have 2 things tonight for Mr. Woodbury. Can you give us an update on the Benton Street tank, where we are on that process?
Sure. The interior coating turned out fantastic. It's being filled right now, and then it will be tested for something called VOC, that stands for volatile organic compounds. And each one of those is a length of about this long, and we have 20 pages of those. But because our water quality is so excellent, because we're filtered by granulated activated carbon, generally speaking, we have no VOCs in the city of Dunkirk water. So I expect those tests to come back. And I know I'm answering your question a long way, but I'm just extremely proud of the quality of Dunkirk water. And we're about to put that quality water back in the Benton tank.
Thank you. And the next issue was, I noticed on the corner of Lincoln and Doty, the storm drain cover right on the corner by the pole has been moved again. For some reason, that manhole cover keeps moving, and it's quite a large spot where somebody's going to fall if they're walking up the street. I don't know if it's being pushed up when we get a lot of rain and the water's going up and doing it, or if we've got other issues up there, but that's been a constant problem on the corner of Lincoln and Doty.
Okay, first I heard about it, but I will make sure we take care of it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Shikawa. I just have 2 quick things. March 23rd, 4 p.m. is the Finance Committee meeting. That's a Thursday. And then also Councilman Gonzalez for your Economic Development Committee meeting on the 21st. We promised at the last council meeting that we were going to, on the agenda, have the landlord agreement issue as part of your, is that correct?
No, that's for the following month, for April.
Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. April. Okay. That is all I have. Number 8, unfinished business. Seeing none, we'll move on to pre-file resolutions.
Number 11 of 2017, resolution authorizing professional services contract for Bridges New York Engineering to replace Howard Avenue culvert.
Any discussion, council? Councilman Williams?
This is just a project that's long overdue. That's it. We finally got it to go around.
Any further discussion? Councilman Bamonto?
So Randy, can you let everybody know where we go from here now? What's going to be happening?
Sure. Let me tell you where we are.
All right.
This is where we are. It doesn't look very good. It's been like that for a half a dozen years. This is, the engineer that made the proposal said this is where we want to be. And I have copies of all of this for all of you. The engineers that proposed gave us a very comprehensive review. They were pre-approved for the Pave New York project, which is a Governor Cuomo project that Mayor Rosas interfaced with. We filled out the application in September, and we received notice of funding early this year. And they just then notified us who the pre-qualified engineers are, and we had several proposals. They were reviewed by the mayor and the director, and they picked this company, and you can see what. It's going to look a heck of a lot better than this. And this is what it would look like sideways.
So we're going to have a really wonderful looking replacement culvert at no cost to the city taxpayer. Thanks to Mayor Roses and his team.
Thank you.
Good job.
Councilmember Monto?
I'd like to thank the mayor, Randy, and everybody involved to get the ball rolling on this. It's been forever. So, thanks a lot.
Any further discussion? Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Clemento.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Chikala.
Aye.
Councilmember Elijah Washington.
Aye. Seeing no new business, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn. Councilwoman Chikawa, second by Councilman Gonzalez. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Clemento.
Aye.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilmember Chikala.
Aye.
Councilmember Elijah Washington.
Aye. Meeting adjourned at 5:45.